Welcome to the online session, Writing Aims and Goals Smarter for Secondary, Middle Years 8 to 10. This session is aligned to the Australian curriculum. The intent of this session is to build on your current understanding of personalised learning as related to the students you teach. You will continue to understand the personalisation of aims and goals smarter that align with the Australian curriculum. This is a slide to reflect on your thinking about personalised learning, what it means to you, and why we personalise learning for the student. This case study provides detailed information about Georgina. The case study information will support the personalised learning process, during which we will develop a Plan Rationale, find curriculum alignment for identifying learning priorities, growth points, and write aims and goals smarter for Georgina. This diagram represents the cyclical nature of the personalised learning process. The student is at the centre of this process. We gather information about the student's strengths, interests, motivations and aspirations from the perspective of all relevant partners collaborating in the learning plan. We identify the student's learning needs by gathering evidence from systemic data, school assessments, allied health and other professional assessments, observational data, and by talking with the family. This information supports you to identify the learning priorities for the student, which we align to the Australian curriculum, and make the required adjustments to curriculum, instruction and environment. Throughout this process, you will monitor and review goal achievement that will lead to determining a new goal. Your decision-making will utilise the 4 key elements: assess and identify needs, consult and collaborate, provide adjustments, and monitor and review. From this slide onwards, we will see embedded in all relevant One Plan screens examples from the exemplar Georgina. Georgina is a Year 8 Aboriginal learner transitioning to high school. We can view the teacher's perspective about Georgina's strengths, interests, motivations, and the teacher's aspirations for Georgina. We also recommend collecting the student's own perspective, along with the family's voice. You may practice documenting your own perspective about a student in your school who may benefit from personalised learning. When personalising learning, evidence needs to be gathered from a range of sources. Information can be sourced from assessment reports, your observations, anecdotal records, information from families, summary reports, and members of cultural and language groups. Georgina's teacher will use the information gathered to inform learning priorities, aims, and goals smarter. You will see in the Georgina exemplar that the summary information informs the teacher that Georgina is working within her chronological year level. Learning priorities, aims, and goals smarter for Georgina will focus on her connection with culture and cultural relationships within her community and provide possibilities for stretch and challenge. You may practice documenting information about your student from multiple sources and One Plan screens. The Plan Rationale identifies the purpose for the plan that informs the direction of personalisation for the student. It is written with a strengths-based approach to support the student engagement in learning and build their capabilities and dispositions so they can achieve. It is written in concise and succinct language with a maximum of 2 to 3 sentences. This slide will help you to record the student's learning needs in the Plan Rationale field. This example of the Plan Rationale identifies how the One Plan will provide Georgina as a learner with the best opportunities for stretch and growth. You may practice using the positive, strength-based approach to record the Plan Rationale for your student. The information on the following 3 slides will assist you to recognise the steps undertaken to personalise learning with the Australian curriculum. This slide illustrates the process to inform designing, planning and assessment for all students. The prompted text on the overview screen guides the curriculum information required for each of the literacy, numeracy, social, personal fields. Finding the curriculum entry point for a Year 8 student is determined by the student's achievement standard of Year 7. Where evidence indicates achievement at this level, the entry point for the student will be working within Year 8 achievement standard. The teaching and learning design in quality differentiated teaching practice is informed by the Australian curriculum and TEFL. A to E grades are assigned for each learning area in their year level. This slide illustrates the process to inform designing, planning and assessment for some students. Finding the curriculum entry point by determining the different year level achievement standard below or beyond the age appropriate year level. The teaching and learning design is informed by adjustment to the learning area focus to enable access, participation and achievement. Grades A to E are assigned at the negotiated year level. Discussion needs to occur with parents, carers, guardian, when the student is working within a different year level achievement standard other than their peers. This must be approved and signed by the parent, carer, guardian and recorded in the One Plan. This slide illustrates the process to inform designing, planning and assessment for a few students, those with a significant intellectual impairment. The teaching and learning design is based on a highly personalised learning focus. Alignment of a student's personalised goals may be working within Reception Foundation Year Achievement Standard. Where there is a highly personalised learning focus for a few students, there is no requirement for teachers to assign A to E grades. Achievement is reported against the learning goals and must be approved and signed by the parent, carer, guardian and endorsed in the One Plan. On the One Plan overview screen, the prompted text for the Australian curriculum is copied and pasted from the blue tooltip into the literacy, numeracy, social, personal fields. The prompted text scaffolds you in outlining the curriculum information required to develop aims and goals smarter. You identify the student's entry point, which is their current level of achievement, and the learning priority, which is the focus for learning. The content descriptor informs the aim and subsequent goals. Personalising learning for Georgina identifies what she has achieved and establishes her entry point to the Australian curriculum. Georgina was in Year 8. The teacher determined that she had achieved the capabilities, knowledge and skills she needed to have demonstrated in Year 7. As a result, her English learning priority area is working within the Year 8 achievement standard. The range of evidence and consultation, including the perspective of her family, Georgina herself and her teacher, and an Aboriginal Community Education Team Leader, formerly Aboriginal Community Education Manager, and Aboriginal Student Engagement Officer, informs the identification of Georgina's learning priorities. An Aboriginal Secondary Education Transition Officer may also be consulted. Georgina's English learning priority is within the Year 8 achievement standard, and her area for stretch and challenge is to extend Georgina's ability to investigate texts about Aboriginal culture. This slide illustrates which part of the standard will be a focus for establishing the aim and subsequent goals SMARTAR. Refining the curriculum learning priority further involves identifying the strand and substrand within the English learning area. Once this has been established, the content description and/or elaboration from the substrand informs the aim. The general capabilities and cross-curriculum priorities may be used to inform the aim and subsequent goals SMARTAR. This slide brings together the previous slide's demonstration of how to establish Georgina's entry point and learning priority for English. This example demonstrates how the prompted text scaffolds the curriculum information in the literacy, numeracy, and social personal fields. In the Growth Points field, you then record 3 to 5 areas of growth we are looking for the student to achieve from the literacy, numeracy, and social personal fields. The content description and/or elaborations may support you to develop a broad aim. You may copy it as an aim and then personalise it to the student's context by editing it. The broader aim may be for the duration of an annual one plan, with short-term goals SMARTAR aligned to them. The aims are generally reviewed before the end of the school year. You may wish to read each example and align each aim with a matching goal. This visual explains the acronym SMARTAR. The goal must identify a specific, observable, measurable behaviour. The goal must also be achievable and realistic, which means that it is relevant to the student's development level or the level where the student is consistently demonstrating achievement. It must be time-bound, agreed upon through consultation, and reviewed within a set time frame. A template is provided to support you in the writing of a goal SMARTAR. You begin by naming the student as the one engaging in the action, followed by the observable and measurable action, the behaviour. The next step is to specify the context or the conditions under which the action will be performed. That is, whether it will be independent or with adult support, and where it will happen. Setting a success measure is an important step of goal writing, whether you will measure the action's accuracy, fluency, or transfer. This is followed by a time frame for the goal, which is between 5 to 10 weeks. A set time frame allows you to review the goal's achievement as well as assess the effectiveness of adjustments provided to support the student. This slide demonstrates a goal SMARTAR written with the support of the template. It explains what Georgina will do, where, when and how, what the indicators of her success are, and when the goal will be reviewed. Sometimes the goals are not achieved. This may happen if the aims and goals are not clearly aligned with each other and with the curriculum, if they are not set by examining the student's current level of achievement, if they are not relevant to the student's interests and aspirations, if the educator has not clearly identified the action or behaviour to be measured, and if the adjustments provided by you do not meet the student's needs. In summary, you can see that a consultative, collaborative process assists in the development of a rationale for a personalised one plan, identifies learning needs for the student and the entry point to the curriculum. This assists in determining the learning priorities, growth points, and the development of aims and goals SMARTAR. Further steps include planning and implementing adjustments to the curriculum and/or instruction and/or environment, and determining staff to provide support. If, at the start of this session, you recorded what personalised learning means to you, you could revisit and review it. Reflect upon what is confirmed for you, what you have learnt through the process of this session, and what else you would like to know. You may want to complete this session by making a commitment to at least one action that you will undertake to personalise learning for your student. Thank you for engaging with this session. We hope this enables you to write personalised aims and goals SMARTAR that align with the Australian curriculum. The following slides will guide you to additional resources from the department's intranet and contact details for the One Plan team. Thank you.